Okay, good morning, everyone. I'll call the February 16th Youngsville ABC Board to order. I'd like to welcome everybody that's joining. I'd like to also welcome anybody that may view this recording in the future. You're always welcome to attend our meeting. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. So I have a motion to approve the agenda. Motion to approve. Second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, so it's moved. Does anyone have any thing they want to report that would give anyone the perception that you may have a conflict of interest in relation to the meeting today? No. Okay. None being. Is there anyone on the line that would like to make a citizen's comment?
No students on the line right now. Oh, wait.
Hey, Rick, this is Phil. Just wanted to let you know I'm present.
Okay, Phil. Thank you. You area code 510?
Yep.
We have a person on the line with the last four digits of the phone, 2772.
It's Jackie.
Oh, hey, Jack. Mayor, would you like to say anything?
No, I was just, I actually, guys, I forgot that the meeting was today. So luckily the 15-minute reminder kind of saved me. So no, I was just going to sit back and listen and do some work. So please proceed.
All right, good deal. Good deal. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Next item is old business, which is an update on the renovation and relocation of the ABC store. We really have a lot of things to go over today, so I want to first thank Phil and Bridget on the property committee. We've been pretty busy. Bridget has rolled up her sleeves and jumped right in, has assisted in putting together our capital budget, because I know that's going to be some thought process you guys are going to have when we bring the matter to vote on the new lease proposal. So to just kind of bring you up to date, Rick Turner got back with us on the cost estimates for the upfit. We got the proposed lease from Charles Kane and Steve. They're going in at a $12.50 base rental rate with a $3 tie-cam, which is an added charge for taxes, insurance, and common area maintenance. That $3 tie-cam is adjusted each year based on the expenses that the shopping center has, and they'll, give us some notice of that prior to when it changes. So at $15.50, that puts our rental rate for the first 5 years somewhere around $4,903 a month, subject to tie-cam change, which I think is a very good rental rate for that space in the Food Line Shopping Center. I had early on talked with Mark McCarn, who represented us on the purchase of the property there that we recently sold, and he was saying that similar space like that could rent as much as in the $20 range, some places even up to $28. So everybody that we've talked to and disclosed that rental rate has said that we're getting a great deal. I think that is the main shopping district in Youngsville, where people go to buy their groceries, go to the drugstore, go to the hardware store. So I think that it's probably a good location for us to grow over the next 10 years. There is one concern from the city attorney who reviewed the lease for us, was the term being 10 years. We felt like the 10-year term helped us get the lowest rental rate possible. We tried to offset that with the risk that perhaps Food Line would shut down at some point. So we have a clause in the lease that 6 months after the termination of Food Line moves out, we have the option to terminate our lease. So we've got that kind of covered. I felt like that was something that we just couldn't negotiate on. We had to get that, so we did. We have a preliminary capital budget, which we put together, that would show what the costs are. The only thing that I really want to vote on today is the proposed lease. If we get the proposed lease approved, then we can complete our, that would make the contractor feel a little bit more comfortable, go ahead and expending monies to do the architectural drawings and to get through the permit process. We've already applied with the ABC Commission for the approval to relocate, and they're sending out a gentleman on the 24th of February to do the initial investigation. And we feel like with everything that we're doing right now that we will be on the agenda for the March 10th ABC Commission board meeting, which Laura Lee thinks that will get approved at that time. So on March the 10th, with all of our approvals, y'all's approval and ABC Commission's approval, then we can assign the lease with Charles, and then they can go ahead and pull the permit and start the upfit. Okay, that's the time frame that we're working on.
Okay.
So a lot of things coming into play. I wanted, Bridget, could you put the capital budget back up there just a minute?
Absolutely.
Because for you guys to approve the lease, I think you want to know sort of what it's going to cost us. This isn't final, but I think we're a long way. So we've got Rick Turner's design and consultation, $3736. Jackie's already paid a portion of that. The fixture estimate for all the shelving, for all of the counter stuff, for all of the warehouse shelving is $68,361. COVID screens are right at $1155. The light fixtures, the cost is $9,453. And the plan here is that, like Rick discussed it the last time he was here, he can buy direct from the warehouse. He will have the lights delivered to the store, and the landlord's contractor will actually do the installation. And the cost of the installation is the responsibility of the landlord.
Okay.
And then the flooring installation, Rick Turner's people will actually install the flooring, all the molding and everything for $14,000. The difference between the allowances that the landlord was intending on doing himself and turning it over for us to finish, and what it would take for us to be move-in ready is $10,000. And that $10,000, when we talk with Charles, that'll be payable to him when he turns over the building. And the building is expected to be turned over sometime around the 1st of June. That would allow Rick Turner to get in there and install all the fixtures and everything. About a 2-week period, and then that gives Bridget another 2 weeks to get all the inventory delivered, stock the shelves, and be ready to open sometime around the 1st of July when we start our new fiscal year. Cash registers estimated at $15,000.
So can I speak to a couple of
Yeah,
things?
jump in anytime, Bridget.
So from cash registers kind of down, Phil and myself and Kirk sat in with one of the software companies, Carolina Data Systems. We are trying to determine who exactly we're going to go with. So this quote is kind of a middle-of-the-ground estimate. It could be as low as $10,000 or as high as $25,000, depending on who we go with and how many registers we're doing. But we're still in the process of getting quotes from them, not just from the financial standpoint, but also what benefits they're going to offer us, what services they're offering to us, how that fits our needs. We're trying to do a more in-depth analysis between them before we pick our forever company, so we're not switching in again in a year. So that is probably the last large unknown quote that we have. So the cash registers will be included in whatever software company that we go with. Carolina Data Systems is currently assessing whether or not they can repurpose our current registers that we have with Dalcom, so that we don't have to have any additional sense in the current store while we're waiting for the new store to open. For computers, again, depending on which POS company we go with, it could include our back office computer. We can provide our own if it's more cost effective, as long as it meets certain specs that they need for their software. Security system, I just was able to update this morning. Sonatrol has sent us in our official quote for the store. Thanks to Phil, he had already vetted the company because the town of Youngsville is using them to do the new Public Works building and then here in Town Hall as well. So Sonatrol is actually upfitting all of Wake County's ABC stores with the exact equipment that they have sent us in our quote, and they've given us their bulk store discount. Since they already are ordering all this equipment for the Wake County stores, we're beginning to take advantage of the same rate that they're getting for doing all of their stores. So that quote is for the full installation, hardware, labor, everything. Telephone system, I spoke with Nextiva, again, a company that Phil had already vetted for the town of Youngsville, so that quote is pretty solid. And then outdoor signage, I sent estimate requests out to 5 sign companies for them to send us 2 sort of quotes. One with just standard block lettering ABC sign for the outside of the building, but then also for them to send design proposals to incorporate our logo for the Youngsville ABC, either fully or in some part. If they can do the entire logo in some way, great. If they just do the Youngsville ABC, they're sending us proposals for both. I have included in my request to them the information from the lease, Exhibit E, so that they know exactly what the guidelines are when they're doing this proposal.
I stuck in a placeholder for desk, tables, and chairs. That's just furniture. So the drawing showed some type of desktop already in the office. So that's included with the contractor quote, and I'll follow up with Charles on that. It may be that we won't have to spend as much money on the other stuff, but then we just put a $300 figure in there for startup supplies, for paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, things like that. So again, this is just a preliminary number. I feel good about the biggest one, the $68,000. We do have a quote. We need to get this done before the end of June, or we may be subject to a surcharge on steel prices going on. So time is of the essence. So altogether, those capital expenditures are about $137,000. We also wanted to include in the operating and startup budget for inventory and operating capital. Rick Turner threw out a figure of $175 in one of our discussions based on the linear footage and the shelving. I just put $200 in there just to give us a little bit of cushion. I felt like we needed to have some operating capital as we get started out there, so I was factoring in about 6 months' worth of expenses at $50,000 for total operating budget of $250. So to look at what our sources and uses of funds are, we have $137,000 of asset purchases, basically, and $250 in inventory and operating capital. We're going to try to offset that with the proceeds from the sale of the property of $190,000 roughly. And then last week at the town council meeting, the commissioners approved a resolution to forgive the $48,000 obligation that we had from last year's profit. So I want to kind of earmark that to go towards the new store. So if we offset those 2 sources of funds against what we're planning on spending, there's about a $150,000 shortfall. Now, honestly, 3 years ago when I did a feasibility study for this Food Line Shopping Center, I thought we were going to need to borrow about $250. So, you know, we've still got time to decide on all this. Naturally, we'll have to do some RFPs with some of the local banks. And I'm thinking that the funding need would probably be more like a line of credit than like a monthly payment loan. My experience with the opening of the Cramerton store when I was on that ABC board, we borrowed all of the inventory money, and we were able to pay all that back within about a 3-year period of time. And from that forward really what the needs are. So that's probably what we'll work towards on getting out RFPs. So with all that said, again, these numbers are I feel pretty good. They may still be subject to change, but I don't think more than 5 or 10%. Do you think, Bridget?
No, like I said, the last two that are kind of up in the air that could swing in either direction, $5,000 or $10,000, is really the POS software. And then I didn't mention earlier, but as far as the sign, I've been asking them for just give me a ballpark of what the range we're looking at, and they've said as low as $3,000, as high as $10,000 for the outdoor sign,
Right.
depending on how elaborate we get.
So I wanted to give you all that information up front before we ask for a vote on the lease. Another thing that we haven't really talked much about is the status of the existing store. Our lease doesn't run out till November, and I think the thought process of everyone on the property committee is that we would continue to stay in the old store at least until when our lease runs out. But, there's going to be some, if we were to close that store down on the day that we open the new store and transfer all that inventory over, you can see that, we really might not even have to borrow anything. So we'll continue to talk about that between now and the time, we get there as to what the final status will be on the existing store.
Well, and if we keep this store open, that's additional expenses that we've got to continue to pay for this store as well. And if a lot of the business ends up going down to the other store, the new one, are we going to be able to really substantiate keeping this old store open if it's not making money? Because a lot of people are going to, instead of coming downtown, are going to stop at that one. So do we want to take that chance?
I think that the conversation that we had on the property committee earlier is just looking at it from the retail standpoint. I think you're looking at two different types of customers that, we essentially could pursue keeping this store open from the standpoint of this might be more of a high velocity SKU type store that people already know it's here. It's your, come in and get we've got less quantity of SKUs, but more of, we might have 10 rows of Absolute on the shelf.
Right.
Because that can still be a profitable situation for us, that we're not spending as much money on inventory, but we're still keeping the shelf stocked because we still have enough foot traffic in that building. The Food Line Shopping Center, I think that's where we keep the higher quantity of SKUs, where it's more different types of liquor and harder to get stuff, and because we're going to depend there on the traffic from Food Line, people that are going grocery shopping and seeing the liquor store and saying, oh, let me pick something up while I'm out. So I think that it could potentially still be a good financial situation for us to keep this store open if we just treat it a little bit differently than what we're doing right now from an inventory standpoint.
In our current lease, I think we can give our landlord 30 or 60 days notice that we intend to vacate. So
it's 60 days.
60 days, you remember? Yeah, that's probably fine. So I say we kind of play it by ear.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that we need to, close down in June and, open, switch. I do think there needs to be that, 30 to 60 day, time frame. But I'm just wondering, we've had so many complaints, and I can tell you right now, once the new one opens, I would have no intention of going back down here and fighting this traffic on this corner. And I think you're going to find a lot of other people who live that way are going to be the same way. So I'm just wondering how much foot traffic, because we've still got to pay the rent, we still got to pay utilities, and what little bit of inventory we do keep there, are we still going to be, is it going to justify us maintaining that store? That's one thing I was thinking. Because I really do think that a lot of the foot traffic is probably going to decline once the new location.
It's really going to, we don't know what's going to happen with the customers if we close the door there. Are those customers going to go right, or are they going to go left? Or are they going to hold off? It's kind of a crap shot Like, are we dealing with people that they've got to have they've got an event and they've got to have the bottle right then and there? Are they going to go down the street to Wake Forest, or are they going to go down the street to our news store? We don't know that answer, and that's just something we can't predict. Unless you're looking at traffic flow. And I think that we're going to have to retrain the customers. And they're not going to necessarily know that we have a new location up there. So there's going to have to be some sort of if we shutter our existing location, we're going to have signage of some sort to educate them that, they can go down the street. But I think we're going to annoy a block of people. There's no way around it, and it's a horrible in and out intersection. But it's their intersection, it's their store, and they've gotten used to it, and we're going to be taking it away from them. I don't know whether or not in the area is there enough business to support both locations. Is there enough? Are we going to be grabbing enough business down at the Food Lion from down that direction that has absolutely nothing to do with our current location, so that our current location wouldn't be affected by the new store? Are we going to be grabbing business from the Franklin's store because they aren't doing it right, and Bridget's going to do it right?
Well, we certainly got a higher traffic count and better visibility, and there is a whole other population of Knoxville residents who live on the other side of US 1, and we don't think that they're necessarily driving to our store. I think they're going to Franklin and Lake Forest along that US 1 corridor traffic pattern, either on the way home or on that kind of thing. So,
is there a way that we can stay in the current location for a month-to-month basis to get a feel for?
Well, we can stay in through November, and I think that's the thing is what we have to consider also is there is roughly $2 million in business coming out of that building right now that doesn't go away just because we're moving to a new location. Because we'll gain business that won't shop there because of the traffic and intersection and where it is and it's too far and they'll go to other places. We will gain additional business in the new location that we will lose from the store, but the $2 million doesn't just fully go away. And it doesn't full 100% transfer to the new location either, so there is business there. And I genuinely believe that I can, at least through November, run the location with minimal operating expenses just based on the way, because we won't treat it the same way that, as I said, the other store. A large cost is, a payroll, which I think I'm getting control over that already. But also the inventory alone, you have so much more expensive product in the store right now because they've done a really good job of special ordering stuff for guests. But I don't think we need that in that store once we have the new store open. I think we can run the store through the end of the lease with minimal expenses. So it's just something for us to consider.
It certainly is appealing to taking the inventory from there and just bringing it over to the new location and shuttering it up and not having to take as much money out. But I would imagine that money is pretty cheap to get these days.
it is.
So this would be an ideal time if we need to go get $150,000 to bolster our inventory.
Right.
It's not like we're not going to sell it off.
Right.
Some of the inventory we will sit on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to liquidate quickly. But I really would be curious, and I think it would be advantageous to us to learn how much the old store is going to keep going. And I'm not certain Danny necessarily agrees with me on it, but I'm new to the area, but that's just my sense.
I would venture to say that once our lease is terminated in November, that we could continue on there on a month-by-month basis. It might require us getting approval from the ABC Commission, but I'm not aware of anything that the current property owner has in terms of redeveloping that site in the near future. Even if he started today, it would probably take a better part of a year to get through the permitting process. So
right.
I think the landlord would be amenable to a month-to-month relationship. That's our decision to make. So I do think that when I did the feasibility study early on, I was estimating that the new store up here would only, if we were to keep the same level of sales in the old store, the new store up here would only have to generate about $1.2 million in sales for us to break even at those stores. So I think Bridget's first guess on a sales figure up there, she's talking $3 million. So certainly if we can do $2 million at the current store, we can do more at the bigger store. So
all right.
I really feel pretty comfortable in saying to you that we can, that time frame between July 1 and November, we can afford both locations. I feel confident in that.
Rick, yeah, this is Phil. I just wanted to make a brief comment that I agree, and Kurt can probably attest to this in his Walmart experience. But at the end of the day, we're not sure, and the only way to find out is to keep the store open. Keep both stores open. I mean, at the end of the day, also we're talking about maybe $10,000 to $15,000 worth of operating expense to keep that store open for another 90 days. For like one quarter, basically from July to October, end of October time frame. And so, if it is profitable, if we do find out that it's profitable, I mean, keeping it open long term, if those customers are going to be loyal to that location, is going to be very, very profitable for us in the long term. And I think it's worth a $10,000 to $15,000 investment to find out whether or not that's the case.
Okay, thank you, Phil. All right. I think maybe we ought to call for a vote on the lease, and what we'll be voting on today is allowing the property committee to continue its work on moving forward with the Food Line Shopping Center. I think we won't sign this lease with Charles until after we have ABC Commission approval, and that's estimated sometime around that March time frame. But if anything changes with this lease agreement, we will bring it back to you guys for another vote if any changes are made. But that, as far as I know, based on the review of our attorney and the property committee, Charles has accepted the terms of this lease. Okay? So would someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the lease.
And I'll second. Any other discussions? Any other questions? You guys feel like we've given you enough information? Yeah. All right. Well, all those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? So and so. Congratulations, everyone. Hey. Okay. Now, another thing that we're working on is a budget for the new store, and I'd hoped to have had a little some of that to be able to show you today, but we weren't able to close out our January numbers yet. Jackie, would you like to maybe just step in a little bit and talk a little bit about the financing, even though you're not on the agenda, just sort of tell us where we are with the January month-end closeout?
So, basically, I'm waiting on the invoices from the 126 delivery to be corrected because there was a lot of changes in all of that, and Bridget has been in contact with the LB&B numerous times, and we have not received like final numbers for all of that, so I can't I don't feel comfortable entering those payables, and in turn can't figure out my ending inventory or cost of goods sold for January. So that's kind of where we are. We're waiting.
So, Jackie, if you could shoot me, or Bridget can, the 1231 QuickBooks income statement in an Excel format, that would be helpful for me, and I'm going to complete doing some of those pro forma.
You just want the totals for the fiscal year as of 12/31?
Yeah, the monthly, or the year-to-date.
By month. You want year-to-date?
Year-to-date, just that one year-to-date, and then I can annualize those numbers, and Bridget's given me sales and payroll numbers for the months ending through the end of this year, so I'll plug those numbers in, and we'll come up with a year-end net income, and then we can base that on doing the projections for the next fiscal year with the new store and the old store together.
Okay.
And I'll try to bring that, Bridget and I will work on that, and we'll try to bring it back to you guys next month.
Yeah.
All right, new business. Anybody have anything that would need to be discussed presently?
I don't.
Okay. All right, Bridget, we're getting down to the reports now. You want to talk a little bit about updates or current status of COVID?
Nothing really new to report. The staff is still wearing the mask. My time in the store, most customers are as well. So that's been pretty consistent every time I've been in.
Good. I don't really have anything else to report, but just to continue to thank everyone that's participated. I was on the board, it'll be 3 years. My term expires about the time this new store opens, so we got a lot of work to do. But I really do appreciate you guys being involved in the, I'm not going to say the management of the store, but in the assisting of Bridget to run that store. I know, Danny, you'll be very instrumental with the HR stuff, and Kurt, when we get in there and start working in that warehouse up there and product placement and those types of things, you'll be a big asset for Bridget too. So I want to thank you in advance for that. Phil's been a real big help. And I want to tell you guys, we made the right decision when we hired Bridget. So she's really shown me the planning of this new store. She's capable of taking care of stuff for me. So I appreciate that. Good job.
Kudos.
Thank you.
All right. You have anything you want to report, Dan?
No, not right now. I was just inquiring about the COVID and how things are going, just because it's so active and stuff. And it's running rapid, but I'm glad that everything's going well at the store and that everybody's recovering and stuff.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Jackie, you have anything you want to report?
No, sir.
Thanks, Jackie. Bridget?
Yeah, just update. Kirk, as I said, Kirk sat in with me on the software demo on Friday. They're getting us an official quote. They did go by the store yesterday to just see if they can repurpose our current hardware for the current store right now. He also sat in on the Sonatrol. The guy just happened to show up while Clark was here. So we are going to, I think I already told you, the current alarm panel in the store is non-functioning, and we can't really get in touch with the current vendor for it. So it's only going to cost us $528 to get the security system installed in our current store. So they sent over that officially. So we'll get that taken care of. I think they said they can get us in within 2 weeks, just because it's such a small install. So everything seems to be going great so far.
Phil, do you have anything you want to report?
I'll just echo your comments that Bridget, I think, has been doing an excellent job, managing the store. And I just wanted to mention, she's made some changes to the team. So I encourage you to stop by the store whenever you can, meet some of those new team members. I think she's got a great group of individuals together to open up that new store and to lead the system in the right direction. So I'm very, very happy with where she's going, and appreciate you all for support, providing the support to her and all the resources that she needs.
Yeah, that's a good point, Phil. I made a point to stop by the store last week, and I talked with Nikki and told her that I was sorry that Lori left and that I was happy that she seems very excited with Bridget coming on board to kind of, grow a little bit in her job role. And she said that meant a lot to her that we stopped by there and told her that. So that's good. Hey, Jackie, I do have one question I meant to ask you earlier. Phil, you may know the answer too, but in our minutes from January, we were going to check back, and Austin, I think you were going to check back too, as far as the amount we're going to need to pay the town in connection with the sale of that property. Did y'all get a final number on that?
So I worked on that some today and was going to send it to Lori Lee and Austin for approval, and then was going back through my emails, and sorry, I'm frustrated because we've been on this cash accrual, modified accrual. So Lori Lee told me I recorded the sale incorrectly, which I recorded it on an accrual basis, and our auditor is now telling me that it should be on a modified accrual basis, and the assets shouldn't be on the balance sheet, but they're shown on the audited financial statement. So I'm very confused at this point as to what should be shown where. But I'm trying to confirm that I've recorded the sale correctly, and then once I confirm that I've recorded the sale correctly, I will confirm the distribution amount.
Okay, good deal. All right, thank you.
Mhm.
The next item on the agenda is closed session, and I do feel like we perhaps should go into that since we've had a number of personnel changes. So for all of you who are joined online with us now, I appreciate you attending the meeting today, and your input was very much appreciated.
Hey, appreciate everything you guys are doing. I'll go ahead and drop off. Just keep up the good work and keep plugging along, okay, guys?
Okay, Mayor. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yep. I'm gonna dip out as well. Thank you for having me as always. Jackie, feel free to send the stuff you were talking about, and we'll review it, and we'll see if we can come to a resolution on that. And I just wanted to say that I actually personally stopped into your store. I guess that was last Friday, and I talked with Rhonda, and she was very knowledgeable and friendly. So just wanted to say good job. So other than that, thanks for having me.
Okay, Austin. Welcome anytime.
All right. Take care.
Hi. Can I hear
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now we're back in the regular session. With Emily not being here, is there anything else I need to do except accept a motion for adjournment?
No, sir.
Okay. So, I hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. I think it's a great meeting today.
You good.
See you, Phil.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.